All right, so what were my first symptoms of Parkinson's? Like everybody else who talks about Parkinson's and their symptoms, mine were first noticed by my wife, actually. Other people tend to notice things, and then you start noticing things. In my case, I remember the exact day. It was a summer day in 2019. And I was fishing for change with my left hand, out of my pocket at a convenience store. And for some reason, I had a hard time. Like, I can differentiate the coins in my right hand, and I've never had a problem with my left hand. But for some reason, the fingers didn't feel like they were working right. So as that summer went on, I noticed that it was harder for me to type with the left hand. And I'm right hand dominant. So that was the first symptoms. I would go for walks with my wife, and she would notice, and she would make comments that your left arm's not swinging. I was also having nightmares. Not nightmares, but I was thrashing out in my sleep. And she was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And she would wake me up. Why are you whacking me? I don't know I'm doing that, So those were my first earlier symptoms. Later on, as it progressed, I started just slowing down. I'd have to say in 6 to 8 months after that, I was slowing down, and it was just hard for me to work. I just kept running out of gas. And when I would walk my dog, it felt like I was walking, like I was carrying a sled of rocks or something. It was just such a lumbering effort to walk. And my gait was off a little bit too. So, you kind of put everything, and it was all on the left side. That's why they initially leaned towards possibly a stroke. I had gone into the doctors to talk to him about that, and he says, "Let's just get you checked out for a stroke." And they did a whole MRI, lumbar thing, CAT scans, everything, and they could not find a single thing wrong with me. No lesions on my brain for MS or nothing like that. And that's when a neurologist happened to be in the office and had said something to me about maybe possibly Parkinson's. Who knows right now, because it wasn't serious enough to cause any problems, because I really wasn't having any tremors. That was usually a telltale sign is you have tremors. And I would have tremors, but when I was anxious. They weren't resting tremors. Whenever I got stressed out, I would tremor. There was a time when we had a situation with a neighbor, and it was freaking me out, and I could feel my arm pulsing like that. And it was, the cops were involved and all that, so I remember that much. But that was my first symptoms. They progressively and slowly got worse. Once they gave me the medicine, the levodopa, within 2 weeks, the medicine kicked in. All my symptoms, most of my symptoms were gone. There was still some erraticness, some dexterity issues. But for the most part, that's kind of your answer there. Well, we've got good news and bad news. I was just happy the medicine worked. Because if it doesn't work, it could have been something else. And that usually that something else isn't good. Not always. From what I've been reading about Parkinson's, if the medicines don't work, they try other medications. But luckily it worked on me. So that's where my first couple symptoms was. And Again, no tremors at first. I kind of get a little bit of them now, but it was more a dexterity coordination issue with me.